Hello, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Yeah, sorry, we're starting a bit late. I was actually trying to log in.
Okay, sir. You are welcome, sir.
Yes. Yeah, and I hope our lectures today will be much better because of the lectures I had to come to school, the office. I hope the network will be much better today.
We pray so, sir.
Yeah. Okay, so where did we stop yesterday? As a form of recap, where did we stop yesterday?
Hello, sir. Think
Yes.
the last place we stop is where we are talking about the sex, the gender, the
Okay, that is
the
the key. That is the key concept in gender and development, right?
yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah. So we actually looked at sex. We looked at gender. We looked at gender roles. We looked at gender relations. Am I right?
Yes, you are right, sir.
Okay. But I think we actually looked at gender equality too.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We did.
Okay. Okay. Sorry, are others still following? Are we together?
Let me drop a message that you have joined the class. It's three of us or two plus you that are here. So let me
Yes,
notify them.
that is what I
So
can
that,
see. Yeah, that's what I can see.
uh,
So let me, at my own end, let me also drop a chat.
I'll drop message on the platform now for them to join.
Okay. On this platform too, I just dropped a message that we have started the lectures. So yeah, I think we talked about gender equality. Did we? Huh? Are you with me? Sorry, are you with me? Hello? 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 Wow. Hello? Please, can you hear me? Please, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. I can hear you, sir.
Okay. What happened now? I
Sorry,
could not.
a call came in, so I was thrown out.
Oh, okay.
Yes,
In
I have
fact,
dropped
nobody was. Okay.
I have equally dropped a message on the platform, sir.
Okay. All right. Thank you. I tried doing that too. Okay. So the last thing I think we discussed was the concept of gender equality. Am I right?
Yes, you are right, sir.
Yeah. Okay, so we say that gender equality refers to the state in which access to rights or opportunities is unaffected by gender. That is to say that for the fact that you actually belong to a certain gender is not actually supposed to deprive you of maybe certain opportunities or having access to maybe resources or anything. Is that call it employment and all of that? Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
So by gender equality, we refer to the state in which there is equal access to rights or opportunities, irrespective of the gender in question. So the next concept we're looking at is gender equity. Gender equity. And gender equity here is the process of being fair to men and women according to their respective needs. The process of being fair to men and women according to what? According to their respective needs. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So how can you actually be fair to men and women based on their respective needs? Of course, we know that the needs of men and women differ, right?
Yes, sir.
The needs of men and women differ. And as such, we actually need to, for gender equity to be observed, we need to actually be mindful of the word, being fair to the various needs of men and women. So we now ask, maybe in a project, we want to set up a project in an area. You actually need to consider the needs of men. How will such a project meet the needs of men in that area? How will such a project, meet the needs of women? All of these issues actually contribute to the concept of what gender equity. I hope from this you can see that there is actually clear difference between gender equality and gender equity.
Yes, sir.
Have you seen any difference between the two?
Yes.
So what majorly is the difference between gender equality and gender equity? Any idea? Any idea?
Hello, sir.
Yes. Joseph.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you can go ahead.
Well, in gender equality, the the focus is on everyone is treated the same regardless of gender. Then in gender equity,
Yes.
everyone gets what they need to have equal chances.
All right. Yes. In gender equity, you try to look at the what? The needs of the men and then the women. And at the same time, you try to bring in the concept of fairness, being fair to men and women, considering their what? Their individual what? Needs. Is that clear? The needs
Yes,
as a
sir.
man and needs as a woman. Yes, and we meet as a woman. Yes. But I could still notice that we are just four in the lecture, in the class. What could be the problem?
I don't know what the challenge is, but because that yesterday we are notified that the lecture will not hold at 1 p.m. again. That we will hold the lecture today. So I
Yes.
expect that everyone will still join the lecture. I don't know.
Okay.
One person have joined us since then. That is Grace.
Yes. And that's why I say that we're just four. That is, apart from me, we have Stella, Abito Stella, you, Joseph, and then Nanyi Grace.
Then they just join now. Then they Amos.
Okay. All right. I've not seen him yet. All right. Even the class governor has not joined. Yeah, what could be the problem?
I
Eh?
don't think there is any problem. But as the lecture progress, I think they will join up.
Okay. All right, it's okay. I'm trying to see if I can still get in touch. All right, it's okay. So that is it about gender equity. So the next thing we look at is empowerment. Empowerment. So what do you understand by empowerment?
Hello, sir.
Yes.
To my own understanding, empowerment means giving people the ability, the opportunity to take control of their own lives.
Okay.
It involves providing resources, skills, knowledge to the people.
Okay. Okay, yeah. So by empowerment, we mean the process of enhancing an individual or group capacity to make strategic life choices and transform those choices into desired actions and outcomes. Do you understand? The process of what? Enhancing an individual or group capacity to make strategic life choices and transform those choices into what? Desired actions and outcomes. So by empowerment, we mean that process of what? Enhancing, trying to bring some improvement, right? Are you following?
Yes, sir. We are with you, sir.
Trying to bring some level of improvement to an individual or group. It could be an individual or group of individuals, right?
Yes,
Right?
sir. Yes, sir.
Yes. So it's actually the process of enhancing an individual or group capacity to work, to make strategic life choices and transform those choices into desired actions and outcomes. So if one is actually into maybe a certain venture, you can actually enhance the capacity of such a person by providing empowerment to such a person in terms of maybe the skills, knowledge, person knowledge, and all of that. So that with that capacity you are trying to raise in such a person or group, it will actually make them to make strategic work, life choices. And we know that those choices could actually work. And in fact, we say strategic life choices. That is to say that they actually have direct impact on such persons. And so by the time you actually provide that empowerment or the capacity to them, they will be able to make such choices which could actually transform into what desired actions and then outcomes. So that at the end of the day, because of that capacity that has been provided to such individuals and the choices they have made in actually embracing such capacity, it will actually make them to what? Those choices to be transformed into desired actions and then outcomes. At the end of the day, such individuals are expected to have what? Better results as a result of that empowerment that has been provided to them. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Any
Yes.
question?
No, sir.
Okay. So the next thing is for us to look at the historical background of gender and development. Historical background of gender and development. Of course, there are different stages of such development of gender and gender and development. There are different stages of such development, and the first one is that of welfare approach. Welfare approach, which was between the 1950s to 1970s, right? Are you following?
Yes, sir. We are with you, sir.
Okay. So the first stage is that of welfare approach. And I say that this approach was between 1950 to 1970. And it actually focused on women's reproductive roles. So during this stage, women were looked at as just having or performing only the reproductive roles. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Are you following?
Yes, sir.
So during this era, the thinking or the assumption was that women had nothing else to contribute to the society, to the overall development of the society, except that of reproducing, giving birth to children, procreation. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
So as we go on, you discover that because the society has been evolving, things have been changing, and there have been modernization and all of that, we could see that there has been deviation from this particular approach, which is the welfare approach, of which actually focused on women's reproductive roles. Sorry, is there any question?
No, sir.
Is there any? Okay. It's as if someone was saying something or wanted to
The
say something.
the person just joined, so
Okay.
there's a noise in the background before he.
Okay, it's all right. So the welfare approach was noticed during the 1950s to 1970s. And I say that it actually focused on women's reproductive roles. And also, women were seen mainly as mothers and homemakers. Women were seen mainly as mothers and homemakers. Yes. During this era, a lot of men could feel that there was no need for maybe a gay child to even go to school. The most important thing for a gay child is to maybe get married and then give birth to children and run the home. Do you understand? So during this era, women were seen mainly as mothers and homemakers, just to take care of the home. So it was possible that during this period, a lot of men could tell the wives that, yes, you are my wife, you have, in fact, you need to be 100% housewife. Whatever you need, I can provide. You don't need to start looking for maybe white-collar jobs and all of that. I could cater for your needs and all of that. Of course, over time, we could say that there's actually been a shift in this kind of thinking, also or mentality. So, but then during this period, women were seen as having that reproductive roles, seen as mothers and homemakers. And also, during this period, development programs targeted women through family welfare, nutrition, and child care. So the programs that were targeted at women, such programs were targeted at women not to actually improve the women themselves. For instance, maybe gay child education. No. The programs were targeted through what? Family welfare, nutrition, child care. Maybe programs that could actually teach women how best or how well they could take care of what children, how well they could run the home, maybe how to cook and all of that. Is that clear? Is that clear? Hello?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I hope you could see the slides.
Yes, sir. We can see the slide, sir.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So, do you understand the welfare approach that took place between the 1950s to 1970s?
Yes,
Yes.
sir.
Okay. So let's go to the next era, the era of women in development. And this was between the 1970s to 1980s. And this era actually recognized that women contribute to development and should be integrated into development processes. Yes, from here you could see that there is actually a shift. There is a shift here, right? A shift from women just being homemakers, taking care of the home, to what? To being partners in developmental processes. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So during this era of women in development, which occurred between the 1970s to 1980s, women were recognized as being contributors to development and should be what? Integrated into developmental processes. So at this point, it was saying that there was no need of actually leaving out women, but they were actually seen as integral and important partners, if at all any meaningful and any sustainable development was actually to take place in the society. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so during this era too, that is the era of women in development, Women were, however, treated as a separate homogeneous group and did not challenge existing gender inequalities. Do you understand? Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
So what we are saying here is this, that in as much as this era recognized that women were actually partners in development, they were actually treated separately as a homogeneous group. So what do you mean by homogeneous group here?
Hello, sir.
Yes.
Homogeneous, to my understanding, is covering a wide range or of many facets. That is, homogeneous is plenty, diverse.
Homogeneous is diverse.
Yes.
So if homogeneous is diverse, what about heterogeneous?
Okay, homo, okay. Yeah. I understand. Homogeneous.
Yeah, in this context.
In this context, no ideas.
Okay, so
Hello, sir.
here women were actually treated as a separate and homogeneous group. That is to say that women were treated as women in group, not actually mixing them with men or treating them alongside with men. Do you understand? Do you understand?
Yes, sir. Good morning, sir.
Yeah, good morning, Lizzie. So finally you have joined.
Yeah, the network was very poor at my end.
Okay. Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, so what we're saying is, during this era, women were actually treated as women. Do you understand? Are you following?
Yes, sir. We are following, sir.
Okay, so women were treated as an entity, as a group, not together or alongside with men. So there was this issue of gender inequality, where the men were actually seen as being what? Superior. Where men were actually seen as being superior to what? To the women, right? Right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, and that is why we say that women were actually treated as a homogeneous group, as group of women. Do you understand? So they actually, this era, in as much as they actually considered the women as partners in development, they didn't say that women were actually the same or had the same opportunities with the what? With the men. So there was that issue of gender inequality that actually existed during this era. Is that clear? Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah, so the next era was that women and development. Women and what? Women and development. So, under women and development, this era actually emerged in the late 1970s. The era actually emerged during the 1970s. And this era actually emphasized that women have always been active in development, but their contributions are undervalued. Their contributions are undervalued. Is that clear? Are you following?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes. So you could see that the first one was the welfare approach. Then we have what? The second stage is what? Was what? Women in what? Eh?
Women in development.
Women in development. And this one is women and development. So we're saying that this era was in the late 1970s. And it actually emphasized that women have always been active in development, but their contributions are undervalued. So what they're saying here, during this era, it was actually rightly observed that women were actually very active in developmental activities or processes. But then their contributions were actually undervalued. A woman does maybe something, but then because she's a woman, it is just being taken for granted that after all, it's a woman. So she has no right to be taken maybe seriously in all of that. That was actually what was happening during this particular era. But then it was readily observed that women were actively involved in developmental processes, in as much as their own contributions were actually not so valued. Is that clear? Is that clear? Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Is there any question so far?
Not yet, sir.
Okay. So during this period, they criticized capitalism and structural inequalities, but did not sufficiently address gender relations. Did not sufficiently address gender relations. Yes, yesterday we talked about gender relations. So what do you understand by gender relations here? Well, we're saying that this era actually criticized capitalism and structural inequalities, but did not sufficiently address gender relations. So what did we say about gender relations? What did we say gender relations is all about? Any idea? Is there any idea? Are we together?
Yes, sir. We are with you, sir. Yesterday, the network was very of us to not really follow up what you were teaching yesterday, sir.
Oh, okay. Okay, by gender relations, we say that this was actually how men and maybe women related based on their own gender to each other. So considering this particular stage of the development of women and development, it was saying that the issue of capitalism was actually brought in focus, right? It criticized what capitalism. I hope you know this capitalism as a form of maybe the government or in the economic sense of it, where maybe the other party tries to exploit the other one. It could be economically or so. Then the structural inequalities of maybe access to resources, access to rights, and all of that. So this was actually noticed during this period where men had more rights to most of the things, maybe rights to maybe land, employment, and all of that. Is that clear? So what we're saying is that in as much as women were seen as collaborators in development, they were not sufficiently being taken into considerations, considering the gender relations, simply because they were women. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so the next stage is that of gender and development. Gender and development, which was seen from the 1980s to date. I think you can see the progression.
Yes, sir.
Yes, you can see the progression. In fact, if you look at the evolutionary theory of sociology, it has actually likened the society to that of maybe a living thing that actually progresses, grows. So from what we have seen here, we have seen that considering the woman or gender and development, there has actually been some transformational progress over the time. In the first place, women were seen just as people who are there to give birth to children and then maybe nurse the children. It got to a point that yes, women were actually acknowledged as partners in development, even though they were not really given much consideration. We now went to a stage where we saw that yes, women there is a stage of women and development where women were seen as active in developmental processes and then contributors in development. And then their all their actions and everything they did was actually not highly valued. But then the present stage, gender and development, we have seen that, yes, for any meaningful and sustainable development to actually take place, women must be given their right of place. Is that clear? Is that
Yes,
clear?
sir. Yes, sir.
So that is the stage in which we are, gender and development. And this stage, we started seeing it from 1980s to present, and it focuses on relations between men and women, not just on on women. Yes, there was a time that in as much as women were actually noticed and observed as partners in development, they were treated as group of women, not together with men. They were still given a different treatment from that of men. Is that clear? But what we
Yes,
have
sir.
seen currently in this era of gender and development is that the development here focuses on relations between men and women, not just on women. Is that clear? That's a kind of holistic kind of arrangements where attention is not just only given to men, where attention is not just only given to women, but then attention is given to all of these parties. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so the next thing under this era is that it recognizes power relations as central to development. It recognizes power relations as central to what? To development. Yes, this era, we have seen that women actually have access to power, call it a political power, economic power, and all of that. Yes. Have we not seen women senators today? Huh?
I didn't get you,
Yes,
sir.
yes, sir.
Yeah.
There
I
are
was saying
women.
that, okay, yes. Yes, today we could see women senators, we could see women in House of Reps, State House of Assemblies, and all of that. We could see women as vice chancellors and all of that. Yes, that is to say that the society actually now recognizes what? Power relations. Is it the political power? Is it the economic power? In fact, even in the religious cycle, have we not seen women leading? Eh?
Yes,
Hello?
sir. Women are leading.
Yes. So what we're saying is that this power relations has manifested in different sectors, has actually manifested in what? Different sectors, almost in all the sectors of the society. And so this particular era actually recognizes power relations as central to development. That is to say that for any meaningful development to actually take place, then the position of women in the society needs to actually be what? To be recognized. And women needs to be seen as equals in developmental processes in terms of power relations and all of that. And so this particular era actually recognized power relations as being central to what? To development. It also emphasizes participation, empowerment, and equality. It actually what? Emphasizes participation, empowerment, and equality. That is to say that for any meaningful development to actually take place, there should be active participation of both the men and the women. Is that clear? There should be what? Active participation of both the men and women. Not just men participating in developmental projects or programs. There should be that active participation between both the men and the women. And it also emphasized empowerment. Empowerment to men, empowerment to women. Is that clear? Is that
Yes,
clear?
sir. Yes, sir.
Now, let me at this point draw your attention to this. If this era emphasizes participation, empowerment, and equality, it therefore means that it is not just women participation, It is not just about women empowerment. It is not just about women equality. But for any meaningful and sustainable development to take place, there should be a holistic kind of participation, holistic kind of empowerment, holistic kind of equality, where the men and the women are actually participate, where the men and the women are equally empowered, and where there is equality among men and women, equality in terms of that access to maybe rights and then certain privileges and all of that. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So this development to be sustainable, the participation has to be holistic, the empowerment has to be holistic, and the equality has to be holistic. Or else, as you allow the participation of men more in a program, that eventually may be at the detriment of the women. And so there won't be any balanced balanced development. If you allow just the empowerment, if you allow just the empowerment of women or men only, that may not bring about any meaningful or sustainable development. The same thing with equality. You know, when we're talking about gender, in most times we tend to feel that we're talking about women. In fact, to some, gender is the same or synonymous with what? Women. But it is not correct. It is not correct. By the time you empower maybe the man more, the man will actually take, or the men, if the men are being empowered more, they would actually take advantage of that empowerment against the women. The same thing if the women are being empowered more, they will now take advantage of that to actually work against the men. So as much as possible, the participation, the empowerment, and then the equality has to be what? Holistic to both the men and the women. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So it also promotes gender mainstreaming across all sectors of what? Development. It promotes gender mainstreaming across all sectors of what? Of development. What do you understand by gender mainstreaming? What do you understand by gender mainstreaming? Any idea?
Hello, sir.
Yes, Joseph,
I want
want
to
to give
try,
it a
sir.
try?
Yes, sir.
Okay, let's go ahead.
Gender mainstreaming is when you include both men's and women's needs, experiences, and concern in all plans, policies, and activities, so that both sex benefit equally, and
Okay.
inequality is being reduced there.
Okay, thank you very much. Aheme Nongo. Aheme Nongo. Can you give it a try? Aheme Nongu, can you give it a try? Yeah, Chidima.
Okay, so for me, gender mainstreaming, it is a process by which the needs of both gender are incorporated in the system, in the planning, and in the policies of a nation, of a state, of a community, to ensure that no one is unduly marginalized, especially in the area of for instance, when you talk about empowerment, some people see empowerment as women focused, gender-based violence as violence against women and all of those things. But in this one, it is a systemic approach where this inclusion, it covers all round inclusion of both men and women, children, the vulnerable, etc. Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you very much. Aheme Nongu, you see, some of you will always just log in, join, and then won't be in the class.
I want
right?
to try.
Okay, yeah. Please go ahead, Stella.
Okay. Gender mainstreaming can be equality of integrating a gender perspective to all aspects of policy, program development, from planning to implementation and monitoring. It involves assessing potential impacts on women, men, and other genders.
Okay. All right, thank you very much. Lizzie, you want to give it a trial?
Hello, sir.
Lizzie,
Good
you want to
morning.
give it a trial?
Yes, sir. Just as they have said, gender mainstreaming is making sure that both gender benefit equally without being biased.
Okay. All right, yes. And that is why earlier I was saying that for sustainable development to actually take place, there should be what? Equal participation, equal what? Empowerment, and then there has to be equity. A situation where you decide to empower the men and leave out a woman, it will actually go a long way to affect the other party. In the same way, by the time you decide to allow the men to actively participate in programs or so, that may actually affect the woman. So for any developmental process to occur, there has to be a kind of holistic approach to it, where the men and the women needs to be taken into what? Consideration. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So we have development actually promotes gender mainstreaming across all sectors of development. Call it maybe the social aspect, the economic sector, the political sector, and all of that. And that is why even in politics, there is this, is it 35 affirmative for women, right? In leadership positions, for political positions, right?
Yes, sir.
And I told you that even in the church now, yeah, women are actually given a place to lead, even in church at the moment, unlike before, where that wasn't actually possible. Is that clear? So this is actually the present state we're in, gender and development, which actually focuses on relations between men and women, not just on women and not just on men. But then there is that kind of holistic approach to development where all are being carried along. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
So let us look at the objectives of gender and development. So what actually are the objectives of gender and development? The first one is to promote gender equality in all spheres of what? Of life. To promote what? Gender equality in all spheres of life. To make men see that they are actually equals to women, and then for women to see that they are equals to men. Is this not possible? It's a question. Is this not possible?
It's possible.
So is it actually operational?
In
No,
some
it's
in some settings, like in Namibia today, the president is a woman, vice president, president of the Senate, and secretary to the government of the federation of that state. So it's possible
Okay,
that
where?
women.
Okay, which state is that?
Namibia.
Okay, Namibia, okay. The
Yes.
woman is the president.
Yes, a woman is vice president. Speaker of the parliament is a woman.
Sorry, the
and
woman is the president, and then the vice too is a woman.
is a woman.
Okay, then the Senate president.
Is a woman, and then secretary to the government of that federation is a woman.
Is a woman too.
Chairman of that party, I think chairman, secretary of the political party is a woman.
Okay. Okay. So now, is that actually a very balanced kind of arrangement that can actually engender development?
It's not balanced, but
No.
it's the possibility that women can equally perform. Women are equal to men in responsibility. That is in gender development. It's not balanced, but
Okay.
they are closing the gap of what has happened in the past.
Okay. You know, I told you earlier that a situation where maybe the needs of men are actually being taken care of more, it becomes an issue. And in the same way, by the time the women are actually taken into more consideration, leaving out the men, that there could also be some level of biasness there. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
yes, sir.
So for any meaningful development or any sustainable development to take place, there has to be what? There has to be that kind of gender what? Equality.
Equal.
Where the men, yes, where the men and the women are actually seen as co-partners in development, not just one aspect of these persons, but both the men and the women will be seen as equal partners in development. Do you understand? Do you
Yes,
understand?
sir.
Yes. By the time you involve even the women more in any developmental processes, it means they will take over the whole process, and that will actually affect development. Now, if a woman is actually in charge and then she does not actually take into consideration the needs of the men, it therefore means that all the policies will be geared towards meeting the needs and aspirations of the women. At the same time, if the men are in charge and they actually don't take into consideration that collaborative nature of a holistic kind of development to occur, then they can sideline the woman, and that will actually bring about balanced kind of development. So at any point or so, these two parties have to be seen as equal partners in development. And so one of the objectives of One of the objectives of gender and development is to actually see that there is that gender equity that takes place between these two groups. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
so the next objective is to ensure that both men and women participate in and benefit from development processes. Yes, by the time you carry along the men and the women, both of them will participate. And because they all participate, they can now actually have the benefits from such a developmental process. Is that clear? Now,
Yes, sir.
take for instance, maybe there is a project to actually plant trees in an area. Now, by the time you plant these trees, after some time, these trees will now develop, and then maybe you want to now maybe fold those trees for maybe logging, for roofing and all of that. Of course, the men will have direct benefit from that. But then, in what way can the woman maybe benefit? Yes, the woman can benefit from such a project. By the time such trees have been cut down, women could also get maybe firewood there from there too. So as the men are getting maybe the wood there for logging to sell and make some money, the woman could also get what? Maybe firewood either to use at home or even to sell also. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so that kind of a program, developmental program, actually take into cognizance women as well as men's participation. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, the next objective for gender and development is that of to challenge and transform gender biased social structures and institutions. To challenge and transform what? Gender biased social structures and institutions. Do you understand this particular objective?
No, sir.
Okay. Nobody with an idea about this. We say one of the objectives is to challenge and transform gender biased social structures and institutions.
So can I try?
Yeah, listen, please go ahead.
Okay, this is Chidima.
Okay, sorry, Chidima, sorry.
Okay, I would like to use an example maybe to try and illustrate or explain what I understand. Gender bias, social structures and institutions.
Yes.
Like we all know, there was a constitution review that happened, I think, 3 months ago. and some sectors, some group of people came and they were making demands for some constitutional review, some amendments, some additions. And one of the things that women were championing for was special reserved seats for women. Now, this seats that was being championed for, or they are advocating for it, so that women in some, like for instance in the Senate, there should be specific seats allocated to women that is supposed to be handled by women. So for me, I understand that this gender-based social structures and institution is I think this example fits it, though I really don't know if I'm explaining it right, but I just think this is an example that can better illustrate this. Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you very much, Chidima. Any other view on that? To challenge and transform gender-biased social structures and institutions.
Make sense.
Huh? Okay. Yeah. So what do you understand by gender-biased social structures? Gender-biased social structures. Eh? What do you understand by gender-biased social structures? Okay. By gender-biased social structures here, that is trying to put in place a kind of structure that just recognize just a particular gender. Do you understand? For instance, putting a structure in place that only recognize the needs of maybe the men, or putting in place a structure that just take into considerations the needs of just the woman. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
So in
Yes,
that
sir.
case, yes. So in that case, it is actually a gender-biased social structure. It does not cut across these two genders, both the men and then the women. It only addresses the needs and aspirations of just a particular gender or a particular set of people. So gender and development, one of the objectives is actually to challenge this kind of arrangement, this kind of structures, where there is that biasness in the social work structures or institutions. Yeah, by institutions here, we mean those sectors of the society that actually keep the society going. It could be the social institutions, it could be the traditional institution, it could be educational institutions and all of that. Of course, you won't see any law that could say that, oh, it's only a man that should be the president. It's only a woman that should have this kind of, no. Wherever there is any of such laws also, then there is some kind of what biasness that has been put in place. So as much as possible, gender and development tries to what? Tries to challenge this kind of what? Structure, where there is that gender biased social structures and institutions in place. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so the next objective is that of to mainstream gender concerns into development planning and implementation. To mainstream gender what? Concerns into development planning and implementation. So how can this be achieved? How can this be achieved? To maintain to mainstream gender work concerns into development planning and implementation. Of course, you know what a gender mainstreaming means, right?
Yes, sir.
So now, here you try to actually take into considerations the needs of both the women and the men, right from the planning stage. Right from the planning stage, so that the needs of the men could be catered for, the needs of the women could be catered for, right from the planning stage. And you can only do this by actually involving all the parties right from the planning stage. Or else, it is not at the implementation stage that this can actually be what? Be achieved. It should be right from what? The planning stage. So if both the men and the women are engaged at the planning stage, then it is possible that at the implementation of such a program or project, the benefits can actually be accrued to all of them. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Do you want to share with us any experience on this, any practical experience on this? Huh? Does anyone wants to share with us any practical experience on this to mainstream gender concerns into development planning and implementation? The class is quiet. What is the problem?
So we are not quiet. Yes, sir.
Okay, so what is the problem? I think this is except if you never understood the point from my own explanation. I want to believe you actually understood it.
Yes.
So no practical experience on this. Has there been any project or program that has been brought on board that the men and the women were actually involved in at the planning stage, right to the implementation, that actually benefited all of them? Is there any of such a project?
So I have not witnessed any, sir.
Okay, so if you have not, it therefore means that most of these developmental projects or programs have actually been so biased, maybe tilted towards the men or tilted towards the women. I think you have heard of something we call stakeholder engagement. Stakeholder engagement.
Yes.
Okay, so by stakeholder engagement, maybe as a donor, you want to actually provide a particular project to an area. Before setting up or starting the project, you need to first of all actually bring all the parties in such an area, the targeted beneficiaries of such a project. Those people you are targeting to actually benefit. Now you bring up on board the men, the women, right from the planning stage. And you make them see the need, the importance of such a project, and how they stand to benefit from such a project. That is at that initial stage. Now, the project, or maybe the maybe palm trees, maybe you want to establish a palm orchard. You want to establish a palm orchard or so. You bring on board the men. The men could see that, oh, these palm trees, it will get to a point. You should be able to tap what? Palm wine, right? From it. Do you understand?
Yes.
So the men could see that, well, this is what we start to get from these palm trees. And then the woman will feel that by the time this palm grows to a stage, they will start producing the fruits that we could use for what?
Palm oil.
For palm oil.
And
And so, do you understand? And so the men, they have seen what their own benefit in such a project could be. The women have actually also identified the perceived what benefit of such a project. So in such a way, both of them will be willing to actually see to either such a project actually what survives and thrives and succeeds. Is that clear? So
yes, sir.
by that, once you do that, you'll be what? Trying to mainstream gender what? Concerns into development, planning, and then implementation. So at that planning stage, you seek the audience of the men and the women, and you try to make them know that these are the perceived benefits of such a project or program. This is what you stand to gain and all of that. And then at the implementation stage, as we implement, they know that, yes, these are the benefits which accrue to us and all of that. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so the next objective is that of to empower women and marginalized groups to make decisions affecting their lives. To empower women and marginalized groups to make decisions affecting their what? Their lives. Yes. Gender and development actually tries to what? To empower women and then the marginalized groups. The marginalized. So what kind of groups here can we look at as marginalized groups?
People with disability, orphan
Yes.
and vulnerable children, and even children themselves, and women.
Yes. Yes, the marginalized groups will even be women. Where the men feel that whatever we do, the women are just to follow. Already there is some form of marginalization there. And then just as you rightly mentioned, the vulnerable, the orphans, widows, and all of that. So one of the objectives of gender and development is to empower women and the marginalized groups to make decisions affecting their lives so that that particular project or program that is to be set up, let them know how it will positively affect their own lives and try to take decisions that can actually improve their own lives. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Any question?
So I have a question. Oh.
Okay, please go ahead.
It is that third objectives. I want to really understand it because it's really not clear to me somewhat. Like the example I gave, women advocating for special seats, right? I want to understand how it does it. Hi, I don't even know how to put the question, but I really don't understand the point.
Okay, the objective number 3.
Yes, sir.
To
The
challenge and
gender-based
transform.
bias.
Okay, to challenge and transform gender-biased social structures and institutions.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, what we're saying here is this. One of the objectives of gender and development is trying to actually challenge and then transform. That is challenging and then trying to change, that transform, change gender-biased social structures and institutions. So, by the time there is an institutions being put in place that have actually clearly specified that, oh, this particular institution is only the men that should head it. Already there is a gender-biased social structure there. Do you understand? Do you understand?
Sir. Yes, sir.
And of course, there are some laws like that. And some of those laws are actually being challenged. They are being challenged. Because, for instance, in Nigeria, as a man, you have the same rights and privileges of being a citizen of Nigeria. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So you being a man does not make you more a Nigerian. And as such, you being a woman does not make you less a Nigerian. That is what this objective is saying. That if there are structures in place like that, that try to be biased, to give more importance and attach more importance and recognition to the men, then gender and development is there to actually challenge such a law or position. Do you understand?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I don't know whether you understand it now.
It's becoming clear, sir.
Yes. So those social structures in place and institutions, the institutions, we have the health institutions, we have educational institutions, we have the legal institution, we have the economic institution, and all of that. In the economy, okay, if you're a lady, does that make you less the other person because you are a lady and then the other one is a man? No. There was, I think it was during, was it during Good Luck that Okonjo-Iweala was the coordinating minister of the economy, right? I think it was during Good Luck.
Yes, it was during Good Luck. Am I sure? Yes.
Yes. Now he's a man. Somebody, Edu also, Minister for Finance also. Okay, so now the issue is this. This particular objective is saying that there is every need to actually challenge gender-biased social structure in place or in any institution. A lady can be minister of health the same way a man can be minister of health. Ladies have been ministers for education in this country, the same way men could be ministers of education. But by the time you now narrow it down, that this particular position is only the men that can hold such an office, it's only maybe the women that could hold such an office, then there is some level of biasness. As a matter of fact, there are some single schools. When I mean single schools, maybe boys or girls. But at times, there is even that debate that a man can head a school that is just for girls. The same way a lady can head a school that is just boys. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes. So where the law now sets some maybe limitations that maybe it's just the men that will hold certain offices and all of that in certain institutions, or it's only the women that will hold, then already there is some form of what gender biasness in such a social structure or institution, and gender and development is actually out there to correct such a thing. Any other question?
Thank you for the clarification, sir.
You're welcome. Any other question? So let's look at the principles of gender and development. Principles of gender and development. So the first principle is that of participation. Participation. So what do you understand by participation here as one of the principles of gender and development?
Hello, sir.
Yes.
Participation here. When, for instance, maybe there is a project to be taken to a particular place, and when the people who are to implement the program gets to that place, the people of the community, both men and the women, they are supposed to participate in the discussion, because when they get there, they must find out, maybe they want to do a water program in that location. They must meet with, just like you say, stakeholders, people. They're supposed to call the attention of people that this is the program they want to do, to find out the location exactly where the program will fit in. In that process, they call on both men and women. They have to be a partaker of that meeting.
Okay. Thank you very much. Any other contribution on that participation as a principle of gender and development?
So I would say that participation in this light is ensuring that men and women's voice are heard, especially when it pertains to, for instance, community projects. The voices of the women leader and say the men leader, youth, are involved in that, in taking decision that will bring about implementation. Thank you.
All right. Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, so by participation here, we actually mean the bringing on board both the men and women in any developmental work process or processes. Is that clear? So by participation, we mean both men and women should actively participate in decision what making. In decision what making. So, in the family, the husband and the wife, that is the man and the woman, they should, both of them should actually participate in decision making in their own family. Do you understand? Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So the man cannot just sit alone and say that I planned having 3 kids. I planned having 4 kids. The wife too has to actually participate in that decision. The wife has to lend her voice to it. Do you understand? It is the same in any project at all, in any decision-making process. Both the men and women should be actively involved. They should actively participate in such decision-making. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so one of the principles is that if at all and development has to occur and be sustainable, then in terms of participation, both the men and women should actively participate in decision making. So the next is that of equity. The next is that of what? Equity. That is giving fair treatment for men and women based on their needs and conditions. Equity. Giving fair treatment to men and women based on their needs and conditions. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so men have their own peculiar needs. Women have their own peculiar needs. So what we're saying here under equity is that fair treatment should be given to men and women based on their on their needs and conditions. The need of the needs of women could be different from the needs of men. Needs of men could be different from the needs of of women. Is that clear? I think in boarding schools, where it is mixed, maybe boys and girls, I think they actually take this principle into consideration, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, where at a particular time, okay, the boys, they know that these are the boys, the needs of the boys, and then these are this could be some of the peculiar needs of the girl child. So by equity here, we are saying that there should be that fair treatment of men and women based on their needs and conditions. Is that clear? So as much as possible, there should be that fair treatment that should be given to men. Fair treatment should be given to women based on their needs. This is not just a fair treatment, but this fair treatment is tied to the needs of the group you are dealing with or you are talking about. So if it is the men, you actually need to look at the needs. You know, you can be fair to someone, but then if you don't actually take the needs of the person in question, then equity won't exist then. I don't know whether you understand it.
Yes, sir.
Yes, you can be fair. You can be fair to someone, but then if you don't, that fairness does not cover the needs and the condition in which one is in, then equity won't actually take place. And so, as much as possible, under the principle of equity, there should be fair treatment of men and women based on their needs and conditions. Any question? Is there any question?
No, sir.
Okay, so the next principle is that of empowerment. The next principle is that of empowerment. That is enabling women and men to gain control over their lives. Enabling women and men to get what? Control over their lives. Do you understand the principle of empowerment here? Sorry, are we together?
Yes, sir, we are with you. So,
okay, so yeah, Lizzie, I thought you wanted to say something.
No, I'm only saying you should explain more on the empowerment, sir.
Okay. Okay, so by empowerment, we say that here you try to enable women and men to gain control over their own lives. And how do you provide this enablement? Yes, you try to actually empower them. For instance, if the women are engaged in maybe garri processing, if they're engaged in garri processing, you try to now give them maybe the latest technologies on how best they can do that. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Do you understand? Yes.
Yes, sir.
If it is, you can even try to maybe provide maybe some inputs to them. It could be maybe finance, maybe soft loans, or even grants to aid them to actually provide that empowerment to them on what they are doing. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
So such empowerment should be given to what both the men and the women in order for them to gain control over their own over their own lives. So the principle of empowerment here, what it's saying is that as much as possible, there is every need to actually provide that enabling environment to both the men and the women to actually gain control over their own lives. Of course, by the time you empower the people, maybe the men and the women, it actually gives them a boost, a push in what they are doing. Is that clear? And in the long run, that will actually better their own lives. So do you understand the principle of empowerment now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So the next principle is that of sustainability. Sustainability. So by sustainability here, we mean promoting development that benefits future what? Generations. Promoting development that benefits future what? Generations. Why will you just advocate for maybe clearing a land or so. Maybe trees have been planted in a particular area and all of that, and then you just decide to cut down those trees without planting them. Don't you think that we have a negative effect on future generations?
It will, sir.
Don't you think that we have
It will.
lectures? Are we together?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so do you understand the principle of sustainability?
Yes, based on the example you just gave.
Okay. Yeah, so by sustainability here, we mean promoting development that benefits future generations. You know, any development that is just meant to actually cover that particular time or period may not be regarded as sustainable development. Do you understand? Because such developmental process may not be enduring, may not last. You may get the benefits today, the gains at that immediate period or time. Is that clear? But then in the long run, it may not actually translate into anything meaningful. So as much as possible, for development to actually occur, and sustainable development for that matter, then the principle of sustainability should be adequately taken into consideration. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Is that clear? Okay.
Yes, sir.
So the next principle is that of accountability. That is ensuring institutions are responsible for promoting gender equality. Ensuring institutions are responsible for promoting what? Gender equality. So, how will institutions actually ensure accountability here? How? Yes, accountability here, it means that you actually need to promote gender equality. You need to know that you are actually accountable to both the men or the women. You are answerable to the men and then women. It's not that you just feel that, no, men, I don't owe the woman any explanation. Whatever we do, they just have to take it that way. No, it is not correct. There should be some level of what? Accountability. Is that clear? Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, so there should be that element of what? Accountability. And that accountability has to ensure that institutions are being what? Responsible for promoting gender equality. Not taking it that, oh, no, the men mean more important in this project. And then it's only the men that should be consulted. It's only the men that should be given what? The breakdown or what has been used, the resources that have been channeled into such a project. Take, for instance, that there are some projects in the community that are being executed on the basis of maybe the donor bringing funds and then the community also contributing funds. Do you understand? Do you understand?
Yes.
So as such, it behoves on the individual or the donor agency to carry both the men and the women along, giving them the detailed expenditures that have taken place. It is not a matter of feeling that, no, the women, once we take care of the men, it is okay. No. By accountability here, the institutions need to ensure and be responsible for what? For promoting what? That gender equality among all the parties in question, both the men and the women. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Any question? Is there any question?
From me,
So
no, sir.
let's look at gender mainstreaming. Gender mainstreaming. Gender mainstreaming. What do you understand by gender mainstreaming? So by gender mainstreaming, we say is the process of assessing the implications for women and men of any planned action, including what? Legislation, policies, or programs in all areas and at all what? Levels. Gender mainstreaming is the process of what? Assessing the implications for women and men of any planned action, including legislation, policies, or programs in all areas and at all levels. I don't know whether this definition is clear enough. Is this definition clear? Is this definition clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So we're saying that gender mainstreaming is the process of assessing the implications for women and men. So how do you assess the implications for women and men? That is to say that this particular decision, this particular legislation, this particular policy, this particular program, what is the implication of it for women? What is the implication of it on men? Is that understood?
Yes, sir.
Yes, so by doing this, all the parties need to be brought on board. It is only when you take into consideration the implications of your actions for women and men, of any activity that you plan to carry out. If it is about legislation, then take for instance, maybe legislation on gay marriage. What is the implication of that for women? What is the implication of that for men? And then maybe policies. The policies. And then programs. So the different policies and programs brought in place also. You need to look at the planned action on the including the various legislations, the policies or programs and all of that, as they affect both men and women. Of course, the impacts may be different for women, the impact may be different for men. And as such, by the time you try to assess all these implications on gender basis or so, then you actually be looking at gender mainstreaming. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Is there any question? So, gender mainstreaming tries to ensure that gender perspectives and equality are central to all developmental activities. That is from policy formulation to implementation and evaluation. So in carrying out gender mainstreaming, it has to start right from policy formulation. It is not just the implementation that you now have to try looking at the implications of such actions on men or women, right from the formulation stage up to the implementation, and then evaluation. Even during implementation, there should be evaluations periodically in order for you to actually assess how well both the men and women are actually carried along and the implications of such actions on them. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Any question?
No, sir.
Okay, so let's look at strategies for gender mainstreaming. Strategies for gender mainstreaming. So what are the different ways we can carry out gender mainstreaming? The first is that of gender analysis in project design. Gender analysis in project design. The next is collection and use of sex disaggregated data. I hope you understand what we mean by gender analysis in project design. Do you understand what we mean by gender analysis? Huh?
Hello, sir.
Yes.
The gender analysis in project design is the process of examining the different roles, the needs and opportunity, challenges that men and women face in a community.
Okay. Any other contribution on that, gender analysis? Any other view on that? Any other view on that?
Hello, sir. Hello, sir.
Are we together? Yes. Joseph?
I don't know. The others are they join, but I don't hear from them. I don't know if we can take a break then come back. I don't know.
Sorry, you said whether others have done what?
I said they join, but nobody is responding. I don't know if they are tired or whatever.
Sorry, are you here?
We are here, sir.
We are here.
Okay. No.
Yes, sir.
You have finally come back. You know, you
No,
logged in without
I've been online, but just that my phone
joining
was
the.
seizing.
Yes, you
My
just
phone
logged
was
in.
seizing. My phone was seizing.
Okay, because there was a time specifically I wanted to know if most of you actually joined and were in class. Actually, I called your name, but then you could not even answer.
I wanted to answer, but my phone was seizing.
Okay, it's all right. It's okay. Let me see. I don't know if let's just continue, and then wherever we stop, we just stop. I don't think I may be disposed by one. So let's just go on with the lectures. We'll soon stop, eh?
Okay, sir.
Yes. So by gender analysis, you try to actually look at the different categories of people in question. It could be the target beneficiaries of a particular project or program. You know, at times we could talk of audience analysis. The same way here, we talk of gender analysis. So here we try to look at the needs of the men, the needs of the women, then their own characteristics, and it distinguishes them from one another and all of that. So one of the strategies of gender mainstreaming is that of what? Are you there?
Yes, we are here, sir.
Okay, so I said the first strategy is that of gender analysis in project design. As you are designing the project, you take into consideration the gender needs of the persons in question. The next is that of collection and use of sex disaggregated data. What do you understand by sex disaggregated data? What do you understand by sex disaggregated data?
Hello, sir.
Yes.
It means information that is collected and separated by sex. That is the data about men and women, boys and girls presented separately rather than combine them.
Combining them, yes. You try to actually separate such data, information about men, information about women, information about boys, information about girls, and all of that. Then the next strategy is that of capacity building and training on gender issues. Capacity building and training on gender what? Issues. Most tertiary institutions have centers for gender studies also. Am I right? Am I right?
Okay, I didn't get that, sir.
I say most tertiary institutions, universities have centers on gender, Center for Gender Studies. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
Yes. And as such, these centers actually try to offer that capacity, building capacity and training people on gender what, various gender what issues. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Is that clear? Yes. So it is actually one of the strategies for ensuring a gender mainstreaming through what? Capacity building and training on gender issues. The next one is institutional reforms and gender sensitive budgeting. Institutional what? Reforms and gender sensitive budgeting. So what do you understand by institutional reforms and gender sensitive budgeting? What do you understand by institutional reforms and gender sensitive budgeting? Any idea?
Hello.
Yes.
Let me try, sir.
Joseph, yes, go ahead.
Institutional reforms is a making of changes in the rules, policies, and structures of organization or government institution to make them fair, transparent, and inclusive.
Okay. Then what about gender sensitive budgeting? What about gender sensitive budgeting?
Hello, can I be heard?
Yes, Joseph, yes, go ahead.
Okay. Uh, okay. Gender sensitive budgeting is also called gender responsive budgeting, which
Okay.
means allocating, managing of funds in a way that consider the different needs and priorities of both men and women.
Okay. Yeah, that is very correct. So by institutional reforms, sorry, I don't know whether if any other person has anything to chip in there before I proceed. Any other person wants to comment on that? Okay, so by institutional reforms, we mean those changes that have been initiated in order to bring about improvements in the system, right? Whereas gender sensitive budgeting, just as Joseph mentioned, this is actually trying to allocate resources that could adequately and fairly take care of both the men and then the women. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
So when
sir.
institutional reforms are being initiated, they can be initiated in order to what? Enhance gender mainstreaming. The same thing with what? Gender sensitive budgeting. If these are being done, they actually go a long way in ensuring gender mainstreaming. So the next strategy for gender mainstreaming is that of advocacy and policy formulation. Advocacy and policy formulation. So what do you understand by advocacy and policy formulation as a strategy for gender mainstreaming? What do you understand by advocacy and policy formulation as a strategy for gender mainstreaming?
Hello, sir.
Yes.
I
Please go
think
ahead.
I think it's all about speaking up, raising awareness, and influencing people in power to support a cause. In this case, we are talking about gender equality.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, that is just an aspect of it. Then the other one is that of policy formulation.
Okay, policy formulation deals with for or developing rules, guidelines, or plans of action that guide how an organizations or government address issues.
Creating awareness pertaining what? Gender issues. And then for policy formulation, here you try to actually formulate policies that go a long way in addressing gender concerns. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Any question on this? Is there any question?
No, sir.
So let's look at gender analysis. Gender analysis. So what do you understand by gender analysis? What do you understand by gender analysis?
Hello, sir.
Yes, please go ahead.
Think gender analysis. It has to involve studying and understanding the differences between men and women in terms of their roles, in terms of their responsibilities, in terms of their needs, access to resources, and
Okay.
decision making power.
Okay. Any other contribution on this?
Hello, sir.
Yes.
And the purpose of the gender analysis is to ensure that the development efforts are fair, effective, and inclusive.
Okay. Yeah, by gender analysis, we mean a systematic examination. Wait for me. A systematic examination of the roles, relationships, and dynamics between men and women to understand their work, respective opportunities, constraints, and impacts on development. A systematic examination of the roles, relationships, and dynamics between men and women to understand their respective opportunities, constraints, and impacts on development. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so by gender analysis, what we're trying to look at is trying to examine the roles and then the relationships, as well as the dynamics, the differences that are there between men and women, and trying also to understand their respective what opportunities. Opportunities for men, opportunities for women, constraints being faced by men, constraints being faced by women, as well as the impacts on what development. Is that clear? So it's just like audience analysis. Maybe you want to talk to a group of persons or so. You now try to carry out, have a form of analysis of the kind of persons you are going to engage. You try to look at maybe what is their level of education, what is their knowledge of understanding of that subject matter, and all of that. So in gender analysis, you try to actually analyze all of this based on gender lines. And then you also try to look at the respective what, the opportunities that are open to the men and the women, the constraints that are open to women and the men, and then their impacts on the developmental issues. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
So what is actually the need for gender analysis? That is the purpose. The first is to identify gender gaps in access to and control over resources. Yes, by the time you actually carry out a gender analysis, you tend to know to what extent the different gender, maybe the men have access to, and then control over resources. You tend to know the level to which men or women have access to and control over resources. Also, it helps to guide policy and program development that promotes equity based on the opportunities that accrue to men or women or the constraints. By the time you carry out gender analysis, it becomes possible for you to actually have a policy and program development which can promote what? Equity. Equity between the men and then women. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
So what are the tools for gender analysis? So these are the tools. I will suggest that you actually read them up in detail. We have the Harvard Analytical Framework. We have Mosa Gender Planning Framework. We have Longest Women's Empowerment Framework. And then we have Social Relations Framework. Any question? Is there any question?
No, sir.
Okay, we are almost starting, stopping at 12:30. I doubt if we may not be able to go on by 1 o'clock. But then tomorrow, second, Dr. Dorothy Annie will be engaging with you tomorrow and Saturday. And I will wish that on Saturday we meet maybe an hour or so. If we can meet maybe for 2 hours, that would be fantastic. But at least we have at least maybe an hour on Saturday together. So she will start with you tomorrow and then have you on Saturday, depending on the time you will agree on. And then I intend that I also engage with you that Saturday, and then I will be done. So any question, any concern, any issue you want to let me
Good
know?
afternoon, sir.
Yeah,
Yes,
good
sir.
afternoon.
Thank you so much for the lecture so far. Sir, I want to make a suggestion. You are talking of meeting us on Saturday after her class with, sir, that Saturday may not be very okay for some of us.
Okay.
Yes, sir. And I also want to make a request. She is coming to teach us tomorrow. I want to appeal on behalf of others. If your assignments can be meshed together, instead of giving us assignment differently, you give us, she give us, and then making the whole workload to be much on us. I'm only soliciting if the two of you can come up with one assignment to be given to us, sir.
Okay.
Or
So,
to come,
okay,
sir.
fine. So what about giving you an assignment, maybe in group or so, that you may need to maybe present to us as a presentation?
Okay,
How about that? No, sir. No, please give us individual assignments.
Okay, sir.
Okay, well, it's okay. Okay, when we get there, we know how to go about it. So
please don't merge assignment. Give us your own. Let her give us her own, please. No need of merging assignment, please.
I remember that. Or was it master's class that I had lectures with them first semester on a Saturday? Was it you people or masters? I think maybe it was. Yeah, I
Should be
think it was.
master.
I think it was MSc students. Okay, so if Saturday won't be okay for you, what time will be okay? Because anything pertaining our course will need to be done this week. And tomorrow is Friday, then we have Saturday, Sunday. So, what time do you think will be okay for you as a class?
You can have it on Sunday.
Okay, Sunday, what time?
From 11.
Okay,
It
from
cannot
11.
work.
No, no. 12 to
No,
2. 12 to
11,
2.
11, I should be in church. My church starts 10. So 11, I'll be in church. So if it is Sunday, why can't we have it early?
Saturday. Let's just use the Saturday. I go out by 6:30 and I'll
Yes,
come
let's
by
use the Saturday. Let's squeeze time on Saturday.
Hello,
Okay,
anytime.
yes,
let's
we
get it.
can.
He's coming to teach us on Saturday. After us, then he also will come to teach us. Are you people
Okay,
understanding him? So
okay,
if the Saturday by you guys, then there is no challenge.
okay. No,
That means
Saturday is fine. It's okay.
Saturday is fine, sir.
It's all right. So let's make it. Can we make it 6 o'clock so that we can have the lectures and then people will go about their functions for the day?
6 o'clock when, sir? On Sunday.
Sorry,
No,
sir, is it
Saturday.
a 6 a.m. on
Saturday.
Yes, no.
Saturday.
Hello, sir.
Yes.
Sir, let's make it 6 a.m. on Saturday.
Yes. 6 a.m. Saturday.
6 a.m. Saturday.
Yes, that is fine by me.
Yes, 6 to 8 on Saturday. Then we'll rest. Then by 10, she'll take over.
Okay.
That some persons may not be available. Why are you people
Okay,
discussing
no.
as if you don't consider your own this thing that you
No,
just
okay,
put it?
no.
Well, we're only
6 to
saying something, please. Nobody's saying anything.
Well,
Nobody's
I
saying her own
collected in
thing.
the
You, when
chat
we were
of
saying,
the
who was
first
saying
place.
your
Now
own?
you people are
Okay,
shouting. No.
sorry.
It's a suggestion that everybody are suggesting.
Okay, let's have one class. 6, I think she can meet with you 6 to 7. So, no, sorry, 6 to 8. And then I can start 8 to 9, then we're done. I think that is fair enough.
That's fine, sir.
Yeah, she will start by 6, end by 8, 2 hours, and then I'll come in 8 o'clock, and then by 9, we're done. Thank you very much. Thanks for the time. Hope to meet you on Saturday. Right?
Thank you.
Have a great day ahead.
thank you so much, sir.
Yeah, thanks. All right, thank you.
Nobody should escape the class. Lots of you saying like that. Please let us all be in the class. Thank you.
Wahala dey o.
I wahala no go dey. Person just suggest you people are shouting no as if this thing. I make my own suggestion. You suggest that the person who is taking us will take the final decision. I don't know how some of us behave in this platform.
That Saturday, so all of us.
My own Saturday as a whole is not even feasible for me. I don't even know. I have just quiet. I think no one is even disputing the fact. In fact, Saturday as a whole go wasn't even in my plan. Then I was even begging to maybe this evening he'll come and then do what he wants to do and start play with me for something else. The thing is, I might even not be around for any of them, sir.
So see you guys tomorrow by 10 a.m. Please, let's make it easy for ourselves.